This is the Yanks Go Yard podcast with Adam Weinrib and Thomas Carannante.
Welcome to the Yankees Go Yard podcast. I'm Adam Weinrib alongside Thomas Carannante. Winning is sick. It's so sick and fun to win games. The New York Yankees went to Anaheim, a place where they never win games, and they're on a West Coast road trip. They've just finished game 6 of 9 on that West Coast road trip, and those are hard, and they lost the first one to the Colorado Rockies, and everybody cried about it. It happened during a Knicks playoff loss, so everybody cried even more because you hate losing twice in one night, and there's literally nothing worse than losing to the generationally terrible team that you're not allowed to lose to. I would posit that the worst feeling I've had, the 3 worst feelings I've had in the last 365 days. Number 1, Game 5 of the World Series. Okay, let's expand it to 4. Game 5 of the World Series. Game 1 of the World Series. Those are tied. So I guess it's going to be 4. But those sucked. Number 2, the giant John Kenzie Noel home run in Game 3 of the AL. Oh. Horrible, really awful time in my life. It was also my birthday. And some people were texting me stuff about the Yankees. And I was like,
hey, did you see that Yankees game, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. It's actually the worst day of my life because it's my birthday. And so those are 1 and 2, tied for 1, and then number 2. But number 3 is losing one random game to the Chicago White Sox last August.
That was bad.
Because everybody was like, wow, you literally can't lose this normal baseball game. You need to blow it up because you lost one regular season baseball game, because they were historically horrendous and they were record-settingly bad and they broke the suck ceiling, right? But there's no worse feeling than having all the pressure in the world on just a regular season series where it's like, you got to sweep this terrible team. If not, you're basically disqualified from the season. You can't compete anymore. And then you lose one in Colorado against a 9-win team, an even worse team than that White Sox team, it would seem. And that pressure stinks. Because losses happen, and the Rockies are going to beat 35 teams. They're going to win 35 games this year, right? Awful. And if you're one of those, you might as well die. Like, it's a crazy area to be in the discourse where there are teams that are so behind the curve, but they're still going to win games. But if you lose to them, you shouldn't even be on planet Earth. And the Yankees lost to one of those teams. And the pressure of the next 2 games, while the Knicks were in the playoffs again, trying to steady themselves while we're trying to enjoy a holiday weekend, it's like we literally cannot lose one of these next 2 games. Yeah. It is May, and this is not a rival, and this is not an important series. But you are not allowed to lose these baseball games. And I forget who on Twitter said it, but they said it last year during the White Sox series. They said it again during the Rockies series, and ended up being 100% accurate. Both series included an embarrassing loss, a complete Yankees blowout win, and then a Yankees win that was way too close for comfort. And this one was Luke Weaver coming in with a 5-3 lead. Home run, single, out, single, first and second, tying run on second. Gets out of it. Good job by the New York Yankees. But you go to Anaheim, a team that's been streaking. After that, Will Warren got his start interrupted by a rain delay. And we're sorry that we were not on earlier this week to talk about the Rocky series. But I think that's enough. I think we're good now.
Good.
Will Warren, great. Max Fried, great, but you're going into this being like, well, the first series of this West Coast trip wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. We got laughed at for losing a normal baseball game and then almost blew the third one. And Anaheim's just coming off a 7 or 8 game winning streak, and they'd lost to the Marlins. But okay, here we go. We never win in this ballpark. We never beat Yusei Kikuchi. And we've got Ryan Yarbrough. That magic's going to run out at some point. And we've got Rodon in the middle game, and then Clark Schmidt's been our worst starter in the finale against Kikuchi, who we never hit. So can we take one of these? If you get out losing the series and don't get swept, I mean, you're not happy. You're bummed out. But these West Coast trips are hard. You're kind of trying to cancel these out. Get back home. Go back somewhere familiar. Face some middling bad teams. Like, this West Coast stinks, and they're going to the Dodgers this weekend. So, whatever you can get out of Anaheim and prepare to go face the world champs in a rematch. Well, pretty easy win, unless you don't like Luke Weaver's 9th inning, which none of us really did. And why was he in a 5-1 game? I'm not sure, but 5-1. Good job. Steal that first one. Ryan Yarbrough is the best pitcher in baseball. Carlos Rodon, the only pitcher who's better than him. Pitches game 2. He's incredible. The place where he once blew kisses to the fans in the stands in Anaheim less than 2 years ago on the calendar, in probably the series where the 2023 season all but officially ended. Because I remember coming out of the All-Star break, we're in Colorado again. Like, well, maybe it'll be different after the All-Star break. It's not. They lost 2 out of 3. And then they go to Anaheim. They just get blitzed. You get bludgeoned by like a 65-win Angels team. Like Shohei Ohtani homered off Michael King late. I don't remember if that was the same series. It must have been. Because 2023 was just awful. You're sleeping through just the worst games of the season. Rodon on the mound at the end. Taylor Ward took him deep, I remember. Just horrendous.
Bad.
Really got rid of those memories in this one. Followed by Schmidt, who you and I both, he's the weak link in the rotation right now. Pretty good 5-starter to have, but every time he starts is the one where I'm like, well, I guess you can write this off, especially against a guy like Kikuchi. 6 shutout. And the Yankees win a 1-0 game. That's their third 1-0 win of the season. 2 of them on the road and one of them in a house of horrors. One of them was on the road in a stadium with the same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. But man, what a series. And now we go in. Mark Leiter Jr. getting the save. Everything worked. How rare is it a series where everything works except for one thing? One thing didn't work in the second game, and I hope all of you went to bed early. But Thomas Carannante, sweep. And now here come the Dodgers this weekend with Tony Gonsolin and with Landon Knack.
Okay.
Max Fried on the Yankees side.
Okay. They lost to the Rockies on Friday. Just a quick, everybody was whining. Look, statistically, the Rockies are going to beat every team once. That's it. They're going to get every team. They're going to get 30-something wins, and they're going to be bad. So the Yankees, yeah, you don't want to lose that game, but it was a travel day. They're going out west, and their offense has really not been hot, guys. I'll say a couple of things. I love this team, number one. They are winning close games. Now, they've kind of flipped the script there, and they are 16-4 in their last 20. So we really can't take that for granted. I feel like we just might be expecting it at this point because they're edging these contests out, and you're like the worst is not happening. I do want to caution though, the worst will happen. This will not continue.
The worst did happen in the first month and a half of the year. They put up 5 absolute. I mean, crazy. They're 35-20, and they've got just 5 absolute late inning giveaways on their slate already.
So maybe they already did the worst, and now they're getting paid back for it. I don't know, but either way, the trend is not going to sustain in either direction. You're not going to have what Devin Williams was doing for the first month or so of the season, and then you're not going to have. The Angels going on an 8-game win streak and then scoring how many runs? They scored 3 runs in this series. That's just, that's not going to happen. But you must give credit to the Yankees because they are playing to the situations that they are given. Pitching staff, you really got to give it credit. I mean, Carlos Rodon completely rewriting the whole narrative around his contract that frustrated fans for the last 2 years, really. Ryan Yarbrough could end up being the pickup of the year, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. Could legitimately be the most underrated pickup of the entire year. And Clark Schmidt, I don't like Clark Schmidt's pitching style. I'll say it a million times, but the guy's getting the job done, so big credit there. I know he's usually dancing around hitters, and it's a little laborious, and his pitch count has always worked early in the games, but picture him as a very much better version of Marcus Stroman. That's kind of the way I look at it. And the offense just coming through when they need to. I understand you win 5-1, 3-2, and 1-0, and it doesn't seem like that's the case, but the Yankees put enough pressure on Kikuchi yesterday to get that run across in the first, and then they kind of had him on the ropes for a lot of the other 5 innings. The unfortunate aspect was that, again, they left a ton of runners on base and they didn't deliver with runners in scoring position, but they didn't crap their pants late, so that's all that matters. I know they almost did the other night with Devin Williams coming in for the close, but again, got the job done. You look at the Colorado series too, JC Escarra came up huge on Sunday. That ended up being the difference. Could have been a lot uglier of an outing for Luke Weaver had we not gotten that insurance from Escarra in the 8th or the 7th or whatever it is. But I think the team is just they're playing well together, and they're playing well in these tight situations. I understand they haven't faced the best competition over the last 3 series. The Rangers are down bad. Their offensive issues are continuing and they're getting worse. The Rockies are the worst team in baseball. Yeah, the Angels were on a surge, but the Angels are still not a great team. Like, I know the Yankees have trouble in Anaheim, but with this new look Yankees team, again, we've talked about this roster a million times. It's very different. Aaron Boone, for the first time in his career as Yankees manager, has been able to be flexible with the lineup, and I think that's done wonders. The defense is much tighter and much better. And the younger guys are coming through when they need to. Like, this was also a really big series against the Angels for Anthony Volpe, Ben Rice, and Oswald Peraza. Like, I mean, for as much shit as Anthony Volpe's been taking all year, like, time to look at the numbers, folks.
Mm-hmm.
He's turning it around. Look, I still don't like that he rolls over pitches. I still don't like that he pops up balls that are in the middle of the zone, but really big series from him. And he also got the job done in Colorado. So when you see a struggling player like this cash in these opportunities, like, it needs to be magnified, because he might be young, but guess what? He's still better than the teams that are struggling. He's still an asset regardless of how you look at it. So I'd like better offensive performance, but again, I don't think that's his profile. I think we have to ride with the waves, and right now we're riding a high.
Yeah, I think, like, Volpe, we're always going to hold him to a high standard because of the prospect pedigree and because of the offseason where we passed on several potential shortstop solutions to pave a path for him, and the preferential treatment. And so the terrible ABs and that Sunday Night Baseball, that's going to loom large. But I think we are getting pretty close to a point where we have to confront it in the fandom of just, like, you're getting some of you are getting a little too nitpicky with Anthony Volpe, who has been worth 2 WAR and has a 117 OPS plus.
And the defense, dude.
Yeah.
Couple of plays in that Colorado series where you were legitimately like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah. And we know he's streaky, and maybe he's never going to be a megastar. Maybe he's not going to go 30 homers. But I saw yesterday somebody saying that him swinging at the 2-0 pitch in the first inning pissed him off. That was a tweet that was going viral on my feed. He knocked in the only run of a 1-0 game. And also, what do you want? Like, 2-0, you want an auto take so that maybe he gets closer to walking in a run? He produced that run. Like, I don't know. We're quibbling now. We're always quibbling, this fan base. But Volpe's been great. He's, am I going to advocate for him to be an all-star with his current level of production? No, but this is like, you want to think about what an extendable shortstop looks like. It's something like this. You can get that OPS in the 760s, and the defense that he brings. He may never be a 30-30 guy, but it's pretty great. And he's going to be hopefully taking steps forward. He's not in his athletic prime yet.
No,
he's 24. He just turned 24. So we'll see. I do think the pitching side of things, I say like a brilliant scientist.
I do think.
Yeah, the series where the Yankees barely hit at all, I feel like the pitchers were actually the stars. What a genius expression.
Looking at the numbers here.
It's just crunched a whole bunch of stuff. It turns out Carlos Rodon, Ryan Yarbrough, and Clark Schmidt were all better than the offense. And Aaron Judge got intentionally walked a million times at the end of this. I'm also just going to say, look, you're riding with fire a little bit. You're hitting on 18 if you're Aaron Boone. You're not going to use Devin Williams for a third game in 4 days. You're definitely not going to use Luke Weaver for a third game in 4 days. And everybody was angry about that yesterday. Hey, geniuses, he wasn't good in Colorado, and he wasn't good in the opening game of the series, and he threw like 50 combined pitches. So actually, good idea to not use him in the finale. You don't have to use Luke Weaver to lock down every single game. And he was, again, not strong in his 2 most recent opportunities. Not a value judgment of Luke Weaver. That guy's awesome. You need him in LA this weekend, and you need him to be at his best. I am not putting him in the 1-0 finale of this series. And if they had lost by Mark Leiter's hand, all the Twitter accounts that are gathering evidence for Aaron Boone's firing, despite this being the best managerial job by Aaron Boone since 2019, arguably better than that. Like one of the best, if you want to think about what the peak of Aaron Boone's managerial skills
objectively,
it's elevating an undermanned team to meet the ridiculously high expectations of the fan base. So I'll only talk about Aaron Boone for so long today, but I wanted to fire him after 2022. If they'd made that decision, I would have been fine with it. They didn't make that decision, and he's the manager, and this is his best managerial job ever. So you can parse the 1-run statistics if you want. Do whatever you want to do to make you feel better about hating Aaron Boone right now while the team is running away in first place at the AL East. But if we need to address it later in the year, we will. If the team takes a downturn, we'll talk about it. We'll try to diagnose what's going on. But right now, they're riding high, and Boone's been great. And he rode the lightning a little bit yesterday. Brought the 8-ball into the dugout. You can decide if I'm talking about the magic one or the cocaine one. And he was like, I'm out of pitchers. I got to go Ian Hamilton for the 7th. He's been terrible lately, but let's see what this looks like. And it looked great. And then he was like, great, more Ian Hamilton for the 8th. Matt Blake was probably like, this guy's on actual cocaine. And it worked again. And Tim Hills, I think Jeff Nelson was talking about it. He's like, I'd like to see Brent Hedrick get some high leverage opportunities in like the 6th inning of this game for some reason. He was talking up Brent Hedrick because Hill's been struggling. Tim Hill comes in, gets the final out on 1 pitch. And then who are we rolling with for the 9th? It's between Leiter and Yerry De Los Santos because Loizaga is out. Also, same situation, overworked. And Leiter got the benefit of a final last call. It was very funny. But other than that, he's kind of got nails, and he's blown a couple of games this year. But the ERA is in the low 2s, and the strikeout total is where we thought it would be when we got him at last year's deadline. So Aaron Boone had nothing but strange options yesterday and somehow played the right ones. And I would say yesterday's game is an example of, wow, got lucky. That's probably not going to work out more than 50% of the time. But the rest of the series where Yarbrough, the Yankees clearly unlocked something in him, and they targeted him long before they obtained him at the end of spring training. There were rumors they were looking into it in January and February and got it done at the end of March. They knew exactly what to do here, and they knew exactly how much value that a crafty left-hander who maybe didn't miss bats and is in the literal first percentile of fastball velocity. Ain't nobody throwing slower than Ryan Yarbrough in the game of baseball, but is induced the slowest exit velocity of any pitcher in baseball, 99th percentile. So best results, worst pitch. It just doesn't matter because the mix is there. Followed by Rodon, who in any other world, in any other Yankees rotation, would be the ace right now. But he's living next to Max Fried, who's having another worldly start.
It's good.
Rodon merely having an extremely good start to the season looks like a joke next to Max Fried, I guess. Yeah. But the Yankees have an all-star in the ace spot and an all-star in the number 2. And then Clark Schmidt in the finale, who, again, you could write that one off before first pitch almost based on the way he's pitched lately. You said, I'll take 2 out of 3 in Anaheim. I don't really need this one. Let's see if Schmidt can gut through 6, 2 earned runs, 3 earned runs, see if the offense can do anything against Kikuchi. Offense didn't. Angels offense didn't. Schmidt's best start of the year. And again, if that's the worst, you're going to get guy with a 3.90 ERA in the number 5 spot as Luis Gil gets back on the mound, as the Yankees get closer to the trade deadline. That works for me. So, hey, we're not fooled by, the metrics back up these successes. Last May, Marcus Stroman looked awesome.
Yeah.
And we're still sort of leaning on he had that month of May, so the contract not worth it, but at least he did it once. So no one's saying May equals June equals full year equals the Yankees have a great rotation and they will feel great entering October. At this point last year, Luis Gil was our ace. And by October, he was pretty much unusable. He was like a 3-inning pitcher. But at this moment in time, these guys all look pretty damn good.
Yankees pitching, man. I don't want to jinx anything. It's a really good run right now. I want, again, like we talked about with the offensive consistency in the beginning of the year, it was like, well, they have a lot of they have a few of these 10-run games that are kind of bringing up the averages, and you worry about some of the games where they completely disappear. And then they had a lot more of those blow-up games. So you're like, all right, maybe this offense is just explosive. And now they're kind of like back into just like, I don't know, they're hanging around. The pitching staff is grinding. And then they're working well off of each other at this moment. But we know that the pitching like this is not going to last. So I think at this point, we've learned enough about both sides of the game for the Yankees where I think the offense will respond appropriately when the pitching eventually hiccups and has an issue. And obviously we have the pitching stepping up when the offense has gone quiet a little bit or hasn't as been robust. Like, look, the 10-run inning in Colorado was great. That's not – I'm a tough grader. That's not really an achievement to me. You're playing a AAA team in the most hitter-friendly park in the league. Like, yeah, you probably should have 2 double-digit run scoring games in that series, and you only had 1. In terms of the pitching, I think another overlooked name that you just mentioned is Mark Leiter Jr. And again, got to give guys credit. because we give them a lot of shit too, right? Really frustrated with Mark Leiter Jr. coming over after the trade deadline last year. Then he kind of won us back in the postseason with some of those appearances. But then he had that weird effing play against the Guardians where it was like, can't you just field the ball cleanly and give it to Anthony Rizzo?
Yeah, he was on the mound for what looked like Noel hit the ball to the moon again.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, and the cameraman was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, actually, I forgot to shoot this baseball." It's like, what?
Yeah.
You need to be fired immediately.
Yeah.
But
You want to talk
extremely-
about doing cocaine, that cameraman.
It was like, yeah, hey, look at this shit, this guy. And then you're like, where's the ball though? He's like, oh, it's in a glove. I forgot. Sorry.
But yeah, so like, and then he has that blow up in the beginning of the season against Arizona, and you're like, you literally have to be kidding me. Third appearance of the year, he gives up 3 earned runs. They lose that game. Since that game, since April 3rd, the man has given up 3 earned runs, 5 walks, and 18 hits across 22 innings. 21 and 2/3 innings. That's incredible. He's also striking out a ton of batters. He has 30 strikeouts over those 21 and 2/3 innings. This guy has been nails, and he's been coming in a good amount of high leverage situations too. So there's a large enough sample size. And really his lone issue since April 3rd was that one game in Cleveland where he got knocked around. He gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run, and then that game against Tampa in the Bronx, which was not good. But he's full. You look at the larger sample size at this point. Essentially, the month of May, he's been absolute nails. He had that game against the Rays at the beginning of the month, and then he has not given up a single run ever since. So emerging as a weapon, if you will. And I think that, again, the right call for Aaron Boone to go to him last night, because what else are you going to do? You got to press the right, like the guy is pitching very well right now. The guy knows how to pitch in high leverage. That's someone you go for the save opportunity when you're going for the sweep. A lot of what Aaron Boone, and we'll go back to Aaron Boone, I can't even believe anybody's complaining about him this year.
I mean, it's even worse than complaining about Tom Thibodeau. Like it's such a weird, and I don't want to say like Yankee fans shouldn't have a high standard. Like we have a ridiculously high standard.
Yeah.
We called last year a disappointment, and it was, because they went to the World Series and they embarrassed themselves. So no one's satisfied with that. I got my World Series gear. It feels awkward. It's just sitting in my house. But so Knicks and Yankees is different. But I do think Knicks fans need to look at the success they've had under Tom Thibodeau and the success they've had your entire life as a fan, which is nothing, no success. The Knicks suck, and they've sucked for 25 years. So you need to weigh that. You need to weigh what you're seeing now against your literal entire life. It's not that easy. It doesn't work out for the Knicks. They've failed time and again, and now they're succeeding. But Aaron Boone, like, some people just say fire Aaron Boone because they don't have another original thought.
It's like, let's go Brandon at this point.
It's borderline let's go Brandon. It basically means we lost a baseball game. It's just a reflex to be like, oh, well, that is a ridiculous lineup and bullpen decision. Sometimes those don't work. Like, you remember Joe Torre? He killed Scott Proctor. He made that guy die. He threw 90 games in a year once or whatever. Like, you yearn for that because Aaron Boone will go to Mark Leiter Jr. in the finale in Anaheim instead of crushing Luke Weaver. People are mad he brought Weaver in the opener. You'd be mad if he brought him into the finale. You're mad in the finale because he brought him in the opener. Not everything is Aaron Boone's fault. Some decisions are moderately questionable. But again, Aaron Boone, there was a moment in the sand where the Yankees could have fired Aaron Boone. It was after 22. It would have been totally justified. That firing your manager now, give me an upgrade. Maybe we'll get to the end of the year. We can talk about it. But this is such a weird obsession.
Yeah, it's you're just so bad. And I get it because I understand the Aaron Boone frustration, right? It like maybe at that point, at this point, he can't really do anything to win some people over.
No.
Which again, if I was more of a maniac and I'm borderline that, I could understand it. Because there was a lot of frustration with how he handled things and why the team wasn't taking the next step. But what have we complained about his entire tenure? It was his inability to do more with a stacked roster. And we did sympathize with him to an extent because those stacked rosters put him in a box. There was no flexibility. It was Giancarlo Stanton's your DH, good luck. And then we have a bunch of imperfect other pieces around where, yeah, this guy's going to have to play third base. Sorry. We're going to have to rearrange the outfield, and you're just stuck with that. We have a lineup of 3 true outcome players, 0 athletes, and bad defenders. So, yeah, Aaron, go figure it out. When, in those situations, he was unable to be flexible, we understood. He didn't really press the right buttons elsewhere, whether it was pulling the starter at the right time, calling on the right reliever, making the right pinch hit decision, making the right defensive substitution, just making the right lineup change day to day. If someone was slumping, he didn't really pull them. He just let them go through it. And we get it. This time around, he has a little bit more flexibility, and I think it's, an unfortunate blessing in disguise because Giancarlo Stanton's not here. Mm-hmm. But I think the work he's done with rotating in Ben Rice, Trent Grisham, Paul Goldschmidt in the leadoff spot has been awesome. I think I think a lot of people, in terms of who they've been frustrated with, maybe Oswald Peraza is one of those. He's stuck with him, and the kid's had his moments here and there. He's played largely a pretty good third base, and
his home run won the second game of the series. Like, I'm not happy there's a 160 hitter at third base and at second base either, but now is not the time to be. If there's any constant refrain we've said on this show, is it's just like, in moments where the team is struggling and can't get out of its own way and there are 7 holes to fill, let's fill those holes one at a time. But in moments where the team is kicking ass, we don't need to be harping on DJ LeMahieu and Oswald Peraza. No.
There's no, again, if there's a time to complain, it's not when you're in the midst of a 16-4 run. So, the guys need a break, man. We're complaining most of the year. We're the first ones to admit that. I wish I complained less. It'd be a nice life. It's just not the case, but I'm definitely not complaining with 7 straight series wins and, creating a 6-7 game cushion in the division at this point, emerging as arguably they're a few games behind the Tigers. I think the Tigers are dealing with a lot of injuries right now, and they have some of their pitchers are starting to come back down to earth. So, and
it's just 2 wins. They've played 2 extra games and they won them both. We're tied in the loss column right now.
But both those wins were against us, dude. So
no, they did they literally did beat us.
They smoked us, as that guy told us that one day.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, look, Aaron Boone has had now. I think it's been a worthwhile test, right? You have these injuries, you have these younger players that you need to work in, and largely. Look, maybe it's a combination of luck. Maybe winning a 3-2 game, winning a 1-0 game. You don't look at the larger problems. I'm not worried about Oswald Peraza not being a suitable offensive player because, it's to be expected. And, I'm a little numb to the fact that the Yankees just don't give a shit about their bench. So, I'm willing to admit that, but at the same time, it's these are not glaring issues right now. DJ LeMahieu, did we expect anything out of him? No. You would have to be an actual deranged person to have expected anything from this man. And that's not a knock on him. It's just, it is what it is since 2021. Constant injuries, disappearing power, get late 30s, rhythm in general, just from being on and off the field and not being comfortable in his own body because of everything that he was dealing with. It's he's not going to do anything. And he got off to a little bit of a promising start when he came back, and now not at all. And do I agree with the fact that Jazz Chisholm's going to come back to play third base and DJ's still going to get regular reps? Absolutely not. But I'll complain about that when I have to. Yankees are 16-4 in their last 20. Aaron Boone has been doing a really good job. The lineup's coming through when they need to. I have, I would like to see a few more things. I'd like to see Anthony Volpe steal a few more bases. Mm-hmm. I'd still like to see Jason Dominguez's defense improve. He took a fucking crazy route on a ball in Colorado over the weekend. Fucking crazy. I don't know what's going on, but at this point, it's looking like maybe he's not starting in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe it's Cody Bellinger in left field, Trent Grisham in center. There are solutions to all of these problems. And don't forget, we have the trade deadline. Is the farm system great? No, but assets are emerging. They're going to be able to do something. And all of they're getting some guys back from injury as time goes on, which is going to help. And I think the pitching has proven to be battle tested for 4 years now of largely the same crew. And the Yankees have proven within that crew that they can introduce outside guys who just come in and they roll. Ryan Yarbrough rolling. I think what they did with Devin Williams was great. I don't think he's suitable for the ninth inning. I don't know when that's going to be. I thought it would be by the end of this month. I'm wrong. Whatever. I tried to be positive about it. It ain't working. So we'll continue with Luke Weaver there in the bullpen. A lot of guys able to pitch in high leverage. So again, nothing to complain about. The structure's there. Just got to fix a few pieces in between, and everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, Loizaga helps. It's funny because Devin Williams, I mean, look, I can't second guess the decision to put Devin Williams in the 3-0 game. That's a great save opportunity for Devin Williams.
Yeah, it really is.
When Luke Weaver's down, but then he comes in and the high changeup is back, baby, and it's an unmitigated disaster. And Logan O'Hoppe swung out of his shoes at a 3-0 pitch off the plate for some reason. And without that, the Yankees are probably getting walked off, or at least the game's getting tied in that one. But we win, and so now we get to talk about a win. It wasn't a mistake. Putting him in that game was fine, and he failed. And it was weird that he bombed so hard after a month of being really good. And it's just the ninth inning. It's not going to happen. Why is it not going to happen for Devin Williams this year? I don't know. He's been an asset in the eighth. It was an abomination in the ninth again there in Anaheim. So no go. But hey, look, I can't get mad when they're on this stretch. Am I going to get mad again? Yes. Got to beat the Red Sox. Facing the Red Sox next weekend and the weekend after that. Bury them, kill them, crush them. Blood in the water, smell it. You lose those series, yeah, I'm angry. I'll come on here and get mad. You can print that I'll get mad. Trade deadline. Now is not the time to get angry about. Now is not the time to get angry about DJ LeMahieu's existence, or saying that Oswald Peraza trying to fill Oswaldo Cabrera's shoes, and maybe those weren't even the shoes we should have been trying to fill to begin with, and they were already down a starter, and they needed a third. They need a right-handed bat. They need another starting pitcher, and they need bullpen help if they can get it. If they don't do it, I'm going to be upset because this is a World Series caliber team. Absolutely. And Giancarlo Stanton said it this week when they got their AL champ rings. They're like, we don't want these rings. Do not wear these. I'll be pissed off if I catch you wearing these. Great. They know what's in front of them. Does the front office? You going to take on some more of that Soto flexibility money? Doesn't have to be for Jacob deGrom, which we have talked about and will talk about again. Nathan Eovaldi. You can use your money that you have long-term to grab some guys on the wrong side of 30. Where if the Texas Rangers go, man, we are not good. What the hell happened? We do not want to pay 38-year-old Jacob deGrom next year.
Guess what? Marcus Stroman. Bob Nightingale's column last week said that Marcus Stroman's trade value is actually increasing with him on the injured list because now his 2026 salary will not be guaranteed. So Yankees say, hey, take Marcus Stroman and a prospect. We'll get Jacob deGrom off your hands. I don't know.
They can do it. If you want to be the mecca of baseball and you want to take your Juan Soto backup plan to the next level, you can do that. But if they don't agree to take on salary or figure out a way to swap salaries or make the team better at their weak points at the trade deadline, then I will get mad. But yes. I can't get angry about it. Was like Joey Gallo during the first half of 2022. People kept calling up sports radio stations going, I don't get it. This guy hits 175. I don't understand. Get him out of here. And Don LaGreca's like, they're 60-20. Like, that's kind of how I feel right now, too. It's like there are weak spots on the roster. There is a summer to address them. If they don't address them, and I'm still seeing DJ LeMahieu starting in October, and he hasn't turned it around, then I'm upset. If they don't get that right-handed supplementation, if they don't take the bench seriously, then I am upset because they're ratcheting the pressure back up as the year goes on. Last year felt so pressure-filled because it was Juan Soto's only year, and it's the first time they've taken the offseason seriously in forever, and World Series or bust is back, even after a year missing the playoffs. So every loss felt magnified. To start this year, it has not felt that way because the expectations were lower, because they had to pivot, because they lost Cole and Heel. Whatever it was, people were like, hey, let's see where we are. Let's see where we go with this wild, crazy roster. And now they're 16-4 in their last 20, and they look like the best team in the American League. And the National League doesn't look appreciably better than the American League. So
not anymore.
Even I said it to start the year. You're the best team in the AL, and that means you're the 8th best team in baseball. It's all gravy. Juan Soto is fine. The Mets look good, not great. The Dodgers have lost Blake Snell and Roki Sasaki and Kirby Yates.
And Tyler Glasnow.
Tyler Glasnow, who's not really a guy, and Tanner Scott is active, but he looks terrible and like a waste of money. The Padres are regressing. The Padres might even trade some starting pitching at the deadline. It's sort of a hybrid model. The Giants are fine. The Cardinals are a playoff team right now. The Phillies look like the Yankees. Honestly, they're on a similar surge. I don't think a lot of Phillies fans saw that coming 3 weeks to a month ago, but they're also getting kind of lucky. They're having a lot of games where they blow 5-0 leads. They blow 3-run saves in the ninth and they win in extras. And then the fans feel cold. We've been there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little 2021 Yankees where it's I don't feel good about that at all, but I guess my team's 35-19. I got a lot of Phillies fans in my life. I'm talking to them. The
Braves are sub 500.
Cubs have no pitching. Like, who are these elite teams in the National League? It's really just the Phillies and Dodgers and Mets at this point, but all of them look way more fallible than we thought they would, which leads us into this weekend series. Blood in the water in LA. I mean, expectations had to be low for the World Series rematch just because of how much they pantsed the Yankees last year. Chris Yankees shit down their leg. Taylor no longer a Dodger. We saw him in Anaheim this week, so don't have to deal with that. Ryan Yarbrough gets a World Series ring. That's going to be weird. But here are the matchups. Max Fried against Tony Gonsolin. That's scaring you right now? And I'm not even saying this. I'm trying to say this with the lowest air of pretension I possibly can. Because, yes, the Dodgers scare me. Their entire aura scares me, right? Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez. Maybe Teoscar Hernandez might even be better than Betts. Tommy Edman. They killed us last year.
Yeah.
They're looking to kill us again. So there's no derision here. I understand what the Dodgers are. Walking into this series hoping not to get swept. Even after being hot. Because they're the Dodgers, and they just did it to you, and they proved it to you last year with an undermanned pitching staff. And Jack Flaherty and Yamamoto being their only real starters last October. And we killed Jack Flaherty. We still lose the World Series in embarrassing fashion. So no one, not an ounce of me is saying, like, this is the Dodgers. I'm not impressed. But objectively, Max Fried, Tony Gonsolin gives you a chance. Will Warren, Landon Knack in his 5 ERA gives you a chance. And Yamamoto Yarbrough on Sunday Night Baseball does not give you that much of a chance. But also Ryan Yarbrough is crazy.
Yeah.
So
give it a chance.
I'm not saying you can't say it's impossible to go into this with your nose in the air going, I'm not scared of the Dodgers. I'm not impressed. But if there's ever been blood in the water, isn't it right now? And aren't the Yankees pretty well set up to do a little bit of damage and vengeance here?
Should be. I mean, this is the weakest the Dodgers have looked all year, right? They got swept by the Angels 3 series ago. They lost that series against the Mets at Citi Field. They lost a little momentum because they took those 2 games against the Guardians, but then they blew it late yesterday. And look at this situation. They're traveling from the East Coast back home. Yankees have been chilling on the West Coast. So the Yankees are kind of ready. And the Yankees have been out here. And the Yankees have success at Dodger Stadium. So, like, look, there's a lot of conflicting viewpoints I have here. It's like, do I give a shit about the regular season and beating the Dodgers? Like, in the grand scheme of things, not really. However, similarly, I view this a little bit like, not the same thing, but a little bit like the Mets series where the return of Juan Soto, and it's like, you kind of just got to win this series to avoid more bullshit. I don't want to hear the bullshit. That's really what it comes down to. Like, yeah, it's number one, I don't want to hear the bullshit. Number 2, I want my team to win.
Yeah.
I mostly don't want to hear the bullshit. So, like, if the Yankees can, and again, very attainable, because like we said, all these teams, the Dodgers are dealing with injuries left and right. So it doesn't matter. I'm a firm believer. It doesn't matter until late September, or the start of September, because that's when that's when the races really get tight. And that's where you got to show your true colors. So I'm not going to do a victory lap because we beat the Dodgers this weekend, but I do want the Yankees to take advantage of their situation. And I don't want to hear anything more about the World Series. We're going to hear enough stuff this weekend about, remember Game 5? You guys forget about this?
And we're going to get the fire Boones when people think about Nestor Cortez in Game 1 too. Correct. I know we are. And I know how angry everybody was when that didn't work. Probably the craziest I'm willing to die on the hill of it wasn't that insane a move, and it was no guarantee that Tim Hill was going to be dominant in the situation where Nestor faltered. It was a terribly located pitch to Freddie Freeman after he got the first out. Freddie Freeman had one leg. All you had to do was locate on the outside of the plate. He didn't do it. It didn't work. I would have gone to Tim Hill, but it's not like he chose Nestor over prime Aroldis Chapman. That's really all I'll say about this.
Yeah, look, I mean, I just don't want to think it is what it is. It happened. It was embarrassing. The Dodgers have bragging rights until whatever else until the Yankees win a World Series or until the Yankees take them down in a world. It's one of those scenarios. But the more negative press you can avoid during the regular season, just the better setup for success you'll be. And the Yankees passed the first test by avoiding Juan Soto coming into the Bronx and leading at the time the NL Best Mets to a victory. Yankees stopped that right in its tracks, took 2 out of 3. And could have won, could have swept, could have easily swept, could have went either way. Those games were close outside of the Yankees blowing them out of the water on Sunday Night Baseball. But again, this team's winning close games. So I think that the biggest thing for me is just like win the games you're supposed to. You got to win Max Fried, Tony Gonsolin. You got to, I wouldn't say you have to win Will Warren versus Landon Knack, but the only way you should lose that game if it's a 9-8 run scoring affair. Like if Will Warren shits his pants against the Dodgers, like it is what it is. Kid's been pitching great, but pitching at Dodger Stadium against an all-star laden lineup, that's a little bit different. But guess what? The Yankees should be able to take it to Landon Knack. Should be. This offense has proven it can do that. They've taken advantage. Obviously, their kryptonite is either left-handers or guys with 6 ERAs. We've seen that over the last couple weeks, but I mean, they've been stepping up when they need to. So I think that I'm confident that they'll back Warren in that time. And again, like I'm not going to say Ryan Yarbrough is going to pitch a shutout, but if Ryan Yarbrough can, 5 innings, 2 earned, 6 innings, 3 earned, like that's not out of the realm of possibility right now. And they can keep the game at bay and get to the Dodgers. Back end of the bullpen is bad right now. That all of their high leverage relievers are bad over the last 2 weeks. So like you said, blood in the water. It's like if these games are close, if you're in a high scoring affair between Warren and Knack and it's a tight 3-2 game at Yamamoto Yarbrough, like cash in.
Yeah. Cash
in. It's all right there. So Yankees have been playing largely better defense. I think maybe Dominguez has to sit for 2 of these games if you want to really value the defense in some of these contests. Like, I don't know.
And I kind of don't. It just sucks because I don't really want to put Judge's toe in right field, but I guess I have to do that.
The concrete slabs are gone. I thought they put in memory foam, right?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's an adjustable mattress at the bottom. Of the fence. You could, if Judge if he kicks it and he's like, I'd rather it be at an 8 instead of that 7. You can kick it up 1 notch too.
It is concerning that this is the return of that was when the 2023 season derailed. But look, I think it'll all be fine. And again, everyone's kind of just been pulling their weight and doing their job. So I guess if there's one thing that we need to avoid, it's just like if there's a play at the wall, Judge, just let it go. Let it go. Take it on one bounce and rifle it home.
Yeah, let it go. Stay frozen. Let it go. I'm excited. I mean, it's the Yankees have set themselves up nicely this weekend to just give us a fun weekend, give us a reprieve from anger. And this is like one of those little mini World Series in the middle of the regular season that kind of doesn't matter. They're entering on a hot streak, so they're not they're not trying to salvage a 4-game losing streak and then now going to Dodger Stadium. They've won pretty much every game they had to on the road trip to make this fun. And hopefully it is fun. Hopefully it delivers. Hopefully there's a little back and forth and we get one and maybe they get one and then we respond with another one. I'd like to sweep. That'd be sick. But, hey, maybe it's a back and forth battle. Maybe we come out on top. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, maybe some high scoring affairs. That would be fun. I'd like to see one close game. With I think Sunday Night Baseball is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, look, Dodgers are good. Yankees are good. This is not an analysis. You're not going to get much analysis here.
Yeah.
These 2 teams don't affect one another until the World Series. So if the Dodgers fans, you get your bragging rights. I don't know, whatever. You already got them, so like it just doesn't matter to me. That's why it feels like the Yankees are kind of playing with a little bit of house money here, because it's like they're on a roll. Number one, number two, it's like it can't get worse. Dodgers fans are already talking shit. The media is already going to be doing flashbacks of all these games from the World Series. And the Yankees have done a good job of tuning out the noise this year, I think. Like, beginning of the year, there were a lot of roster questions, and they either put them to rest real quick or just simply brushed them aside. You had the Devin Williams drama early. They pulled him, and they made the right decision. They had the Jason Dominguez defensive questions, and those have kind of gone away. Not with us, but like with
we're watching.
For whatever reason, like they're not asked those types of questions, I guess, at least in a widely disseminated fashion in the post game. But again, winning cures all. We talked, like, it could be a blessing and a curse, right? Like, I don't want the winning to continue at the expense of like, oh, we don't really have to address these things. It's like, no, it's like, it's nice that I don't have to worry about Jason Dominguez still making wonky plays in the outfield. It's nice that I'm front of mind. I'm not going to bed thinking about Oswald Peraza and DJ LeMahieu batting 180. But like, yeah, those things need to be fixed eventually. So, but then again, if those guys are going to come through, like Jason Dominguez has been getting on base and stealing bags. Oswald Peraza had that big hit the other night. DJ LeMahieu has been pretty friggin' good on defense. Like, I know that's crazy to say, but like, he has been, and that's valuable. Like, this team has been bad on defense. Second base has been incredible since Gleyber Torres is gone. I'm sorry, I got to mention that again and mention him, but like, the defense at second base has been completely different since he's been out of town. But yeah, I mean, Dodgers, Chris Taylor's not here. He went 1 for 10 with 5 strikeouts.
Really
with the Angels against the Yankees.
Down his leg there, yeah. Down his leg all series long.
Actual poop down his leg after that. But yeah, I think, look, fun baseball weekend. Fun baseball weekend, and I think that's how that's the attitude we gotta go into it with, and you go in relaxed like that, and you, more times than not, I feel like the outcome goes your way.
Yeah, it's a Subway Series. I find that fun. I find this fun. I don't find the Red Sox fun at all, even where they're at right now.
No, Red Sox is never fun.
Not going to find that fun next weekend, even if I get my Yogi Berra naval bobblehead. I'm not going to enjoy that. Everybody knows I'm not going to any of those games because they're 0-12 in my last 12. So, no, I'm not going to watch Yankees Red Sox next weekend. Best of luck to anyone who is. But I just find this fun. Let's hope for a high-scoring, old-school Hollywood affair, and I'm not talking about Hugh Jackman. Final points. I think one just before we sign off. Yankees are still looking for that infield upgrade. I think it's kind of weird that they tried to grab Orlando Arcia from the Braves after the Braves DFA'd him. They tried to go ahead and get him. There's no such thing as a bad minor league deal. They offered Arcia one. The Mets offered Arcia one as well, and he turned us down for the Colorado Rockies. So they gave him a major league deal. That's what you want. God bless you, Orlando Arcia. People love to say there's no bad minor league deal, and I agree. There's no bad minor league deal. But the only one that is kind of bad is if you're like, man, we need an infielder. We need a right-handed bat. Let's go ahead and grab this 2023 All-Star who was terrible last year and who was terrible to start this year. And now we don't have to address it because we got Orlando Arcia. He's on a minor league deal. We call him up if we need him. So great. Now we check that off the checklist. We'll go shop for pitching. That's the bad minor league deal. If you're like, I got a random guy. What are you telling me I need a third baseman for? I need a right-handed bat. I got Orlando Arcia in the minor leagues. What are you talking about? Go take a rest. Go enjoy your Cambridge paving stones. Like, that's the bad minor league deal. So would I have been fine with throwing a flyer here? Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. Great. Cool. Even though he quite literally single-handedly lost a playoff series for the Braves against the Phillies in 2023 when he trolled Bryce Harper, and then Bryce Harper said, I'm going to kick your ass personally, and then he did. So I don't want that energy on my team. The Yankees have had that happen to them too many times in the Aaron Judge era where they end up on the wrong side of trolling. All in all, if you're a guy who prefers an MLB opportunity with the Rockies over a minor league opportunity with me or with the Mets who unlock a lot of players, with me personally, I'll give you a minor league opportunity. I don't care. I'm doling them out like chiclets. If you prefer the Rockies, great. We were not meant to work together. So best of luck in your new home. You can't get bent out of shape by this. You just have to laugh and go, I'm glad the Yankees are trying, but that's a deeply weird thing to see. And no, thank you.
Truly. I mean, look, I get it. Like buried in Scranton or where the Mets are in Syracuse.
Yeah.
He turned down the Mets, and really funny that he turned down the Mets. Like that's like a content dream for Braves fans. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather spend my summer in Denver than take my chance with a losing team in Denver, having fun, mountain backdrop, than Syracuse or middle of Pennsylvania. Maybe winning doesn't matter to him anymore, and he's just like, you know what, I'm going to play out the rest of my MLB days and have a good time. I don't know. It was a good attempt by the Yankees. I mean, I think this was a move that had clear intention. Do I think Arcia would have been a major asset? No, but he would have been a great depth piece and a potential upgrade over kind of what we're dealing with right now when the problems do magnify at some point. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will. Not being negative, just this ebbs and flows of the baseball season, man. Mets were riding high, and now after the Yankee series, all anybody's talking about is how not good Juan Soto is, and they're still like kind of winning game. They beat the Dodgers in a series. And like people are still like, I can't believe Soto's still doing this. It's like, does it matter? Like, let the guy just play. You guys are winning games. Just let him work through it. I don't know. But look, Yankees in short have to get more creative than Orlando Arcia over the next 2 months, and I think that they will. At this point, it's obvious to see that this team is quote different. The pivot from Soto has worked out in the first 2 months of the season to a great degree. Obviously, you're always worried about injuries, and you're one injury away from the entire situation being flipped on its head. But this team's had a lot of bad injury luck over the last 6-7 years. So maybe we get a little bit lucky this year. Can Garrett Cole's season-ending surgery kind of just be the last of it, and Giancarlo Stanton missing the first 3 months of the year, and Luis Gil being out till the All-Star break? The Yankees still have technically bad injury luck this year, but with the key players who have been stepping up this year, it's all been fine. So maybe that's that. Maybe health is on our side for the most part, while all these other teams kind of deal with the other underperformances and costly injuries. So I don't know. Either way, they got to figure it out. I'm sure Brian Cashman is already eyeing who he's going to try to take advantage of at the trade deadline, then be told no, and then make a whatever trade. But at this point, they stocked up the farm system with all the draft picks last year with pitchers. So maybe that's enticing to somebody. I don't know. We'll see. Wait and see.
Well, Jazz Chisholm's coming back, it would seem, and when he does, he's going to be playing third. So
I don't like it.
Is that a weird decision? I don't like it from the outset, but it does make you think they're looking at the trade market and they're saying, who are the third basemen? I don't love these guys. Do we like Orlando Arcia? Who are the second basemen? Oh, maybe I like somebody there. Maybe I can keep Jazz at third and go ahead and grab a second baseman. Who that is, I don't know. You just have to read yanksgoyard.com. But we'll try to figure that out as we get closer to mapping out the trade deadline. We appreciate you joining us on the podcast. 2:00 every Monday, every Thursday. We'll be back here on Monday afternoon following the Dodgers series. Good to have an off day today. Good to collect those ducks, put them in a row, get the bullpen rested and ready. Get Jazz Chisholm's rehab games. Keep everything flowing in motion. Have some fun this weekend. Still May. It's almost June. Then it's July. And then after that, I don't know what the hell happens. I'm Adam Weinrib. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Weinrib, Thomas Carannante. Where can the people find you?
At Tommy's_takes. We are at the official Yanks Go Yard account at Yanks Go Yard FS. Like Adam said, yanksgoyard.com website. Go to it, read it. We appreciate you guys coming through to support the content. We appreciate you guys tuning in today to listen. Have yourselves a good weekend. Off day today. I will say, really weird behavior from me. I watched every Angels game, and I fell asleep in the ninth inning or right before the start of the ninth inning every single time. But 7 p.m. games, sometimes I'm like, I can miss the first few innings. I don't really give a shit. Or they're up big and I'm like, I'm going to put this on audio and just have it on, not glued to the TV. But for some reason I was like, I'm going to watch all these West Coast games because I have a broken brain. But I did that. But have yourselves a nice off day today. No Yankees baseball, can take a breather. Series against the Dodgers in LA. Have yourselves a good time. and a great weekend. And we'll see you again on Monday. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, you were texting me last night. You're like, man, this stadium in Anaheim looks cool. I was
Looks
like,
cool.
This guy puffing on that cheap. Like, why are we talking about this? What's he talking about? But it does look cool. You're really glued to the weird Lone Angel series in the.
I am.
But that's the kind of attention you can hope we will pay every game in the Yankee season. We're going to be watching the Dodgers this weekend, and we're going to be watching the Knicks tonight. My God, please.
Knicks, please.
I don't know. Hey, look, honestly, they could absolutely come back from 3-1. They could also lose by 29 points tonight. So
yes. I
really have no idea what to expect. They've been worse at home than they've been on the road all year. It would be nice to force it to game 6. Nice to put it in the ball in Indy's court. It'd also be nice to humble Pat McAfee, a man who has never had anything bad happen to him in his entire life, who said that a bunch of New York celebrities, we should send them back home bleeding from the ears. So, again, if that's the kind of thing that you like to hear, cool. Like, that's just the kind of thing that you like to hear, then, like, cool. You're a real cool guy. And I say guy because you're definitely a guy. But to me, that actually sucks shit. So, anyway, we'll see you on Monday's show. We'll see how the Yankees do. Until next time, I'm Adam Weinrib for Thomas Carannante. Let's go Yankees. Get some wins. We'll catch you on the flip side.